All right, this video is going to be kind of a documentation video for the Lexus GX460 and more specifically for a problem that these amazing vehicles have, which is known as the KDSS lean. So the issue involves the suspension, and to simplify the explanation, sometimes the vehicle will lean towards the passenger side, the front passenger side, for some reason. There's a TSB out here for Lexus to fix it, but your vehicle has to actually qualify for the repair. So in this video, I'm going to kind of just document my experience. So I purchased this GX. This is a 2021 model. I bought about 3 months ago, and I drove it 4 hours back home. All right, so here's an example of no lean at all. It's not leaning right now at all. It's hard to tell on camera. I'm not sure if you'll actually be able to tell, but I'll show you real quick. If you look at my steering wheel, it's just going straight, and the steering wheel is perfectly centered, like a normal car. So one of the most frustrating things about the GX KDSS lean issue is that sometimes it just goes away, like this right now. And I don't know if it matters. I have a full tank of gas, and as of this moment, it's not leaning. It's just driving perfectly fine. But if I make a certain maneuver or like a really sharp right turn, the lean could come back. Right or left, I haven't really figured that out yet, but I just wanted to document the fact that sometimes the lean just magically goes away.
If you search Google for this GX leaning problem, you'll come across this massive 22-page thread on the Club Lexus forum filled with people talking about it. And one common comment on there is that it's cosmetic and that it's normal and it does not affect the driving experience. Now, I just want to clarify that on my vehicle, unfortunately, it does affect the driving experience. And what I've noticed basically is that most of the time I can just drive and not think about it. But sometimes, especially at slower speeds, I can feel the leaning over here in the passenger side. And what'll happen is my entire vehicle will just want to kind of pull to the right. So it's very annoying. Like right now, if I let go of the wheel, my vehicle is going to go to the right. So I have to keep correcting it. But if I were to go up here and just switch lanes a few times, it might fix itself and just drive normally. So I know it's not an alignment issue, because if it was an alignment issue, it would just constantly do the same thing. Another thing is the people who say it's normal. I think it's ironic because they're commenting in a thread that's 20-something pages long, filled with people complaining about the problem. So just using common sense, it doesn't seem normal if so many people have this issue. Although, to be fair, I can definitely assume that some people may have such a minor leaning issue that they simply don't notice it, or maybe it doesn't affect their driving and so they just don't care.
So when I got it back home, I didn't actually notice anything wrong with it. I drove it all the way from Dallas to Houston, and it drove fine. I didn't notice any weirdness with the suspension or anything. But it was like the next day when I noticed when I drove it that it slightly leaned towards the passenger side. And I looked into it, and sure enough, this is a known problem with this model. Let me give you a quick demonstration of the issues. I threw a level on the back of my bumper. Check it out. You can clearly see how it's not level. And if I were to raise the passenger side, it would level it. Okay, so to demonstrate this problem, I was thinking about just measuring this on camera, but it's kind of pointless because there are so many ways you can measure this. You can measure from the top of the tire up to the bottom of the tire well, or the wheel well. You can measure from the center up or the ground. And it's just confusing. So I'm just going to show you for the sake of comparison. If you get your fist like this and you put it right here between the tire and the bottom of the well, try to hold that into place. Go to the passenger side like this. And I don't know if you can tell on camera, but you see how the passenger side, it obviously is lower because I would have to put my finger down and put my fist back in here. And if you look at my thumb, you can see it's not up as far. Yeah, so right now it's leaning. Sometimes it does this. Other times I've noticed I would measure it and there's almost no difference. So the official Lexus way to look at this is to view it from behind, and you should be able to see that the entire vehicle is slightly leaning to the front passenger side. Now, it's not very noticeable, but when you notice it, you'll always notice it. That's kind of the problem with this. The official Lexus repair is that if it leans more than like, I think it's 0.79 inches, then they will repair it for you. Today I'm gonna go to the dealer and I'm gonna see what they say on this one. But naturally, I know that dealers, they don't want to do these kinds of repairs because it takes time and they don't make the normal margins and profit to do this. I'm not sure how that works. I don't know if Lexus would have to reimburse them or they just lose the money. But I'm sure that the dealers are not doing this at a loss. So it's an amazing vehicle. Would I have purchased it knowing it had this problem? Yes, I would have, because it still drives great. Sometimes it drives completely, totally normal. Other times it pulls to the left a little bit, and I think that's because of the lean. So anyways, let's see what the dealer says. All right, so I went to the dealer and they declined the repair on my GX with the KDSS lean problem. Apparently they measured it, and the variation for my vehicle is about 5 millimeters, roughly 4 to 5. What's really interesting is they don't measure it on the front, where it's mostly noticeable. They measure it on the rear of the vehicle. And part of the process, unfortunately, is that the technician is told to rock the vehicle back and forth before measuring, which means they kind of forcefully level it out a little bit before they measure. And unfortunately, that sucks because in my case, sometimes this thing will actually have no leaning at all. And other times when I've measured it, it would be almost up to an inch. But in order for it to qualify, it would have to be a 20 millimeter difference, which is just insane. I don't even know if a vehicle would be drivable at that point. I still love this thing. And if you're interested in GX content, I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos on this. So hit the subscribe button. And what I'll do now is, my advisor told me that he had another guy that he got so fed up he just lifted the vehicle, because when you change the suspension out, you'll fix the problem naturally. But I'm an OEM guy. I'm not going to be doing that. That's too extreme and I don't have the money. And quite frankly, my problem here is not that bad. This is something that I can live with. It's just important to understand that these things do have the KDSS lean issue. The official stance from Lexus is that it's normal. And I have noticed that sometimes it'll be leaning and I'll take a slight turn and it'll correct itself. So I really think it's just a characteristic of the suspension. But unfortunately, if you test drive one, it could behave totally normal, and then later on you may discover it has the problem. So for me, I'm not too worried about it, but what I will be doing is I will contact, I think the number is like 1-800-25-LEXUS or something like that. That's the Lexus corporate customer service line, and my service advisor did recommend reaching out to Lexus and seeing if they would by chance just cover the repair for me if I want to do it. It would cost about $1,500 if I do it on my own. And another thing is that I was warned, if you don't have the problem and you do the repair, it could actually make the vehicle tilt over to the opposite side, because the repair is for the passenger side leaning. And yeah, so the repair could actually overdo the other side if you don't require it. So that's one thing to think about. Anyways, I'll be doing some more follow-up videos on this. I'll let you know how the case goes with Lexus. I really don't think they'll want to help me on this, but that's okay. Anyways, thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed this. Bye-bye.
Just wanted to throw in a quick update at the end of this video. I did open a new case with the Lexus corporate support number, and I have heard the result of that case. And so I will be doing another video shortly to explain the results of it, just in case you're interested, so you can see what Lexus has offered me, if anything, to help pay for the repair.